Hello, art students. The final step of your abstract portrait is to take one last look at the drawing, preferably up on the wall with the reference image next to it. The reason that I'm suggesting this is that if you have your drawing up on the wall, you've got some physical distance from it, and it's easier to really see whether there are things that you need to add or correct. So it's a really helpful way to get a little bit of perspective, and especially if you rotate the drawing into a different position, like the one my drawing is in, it'll really help you see whether you need to make any changes, and then you can actually just work on it on the wall. Next, you need to think about some finishing work, which means making adjustments and corrections. The first tool I'm going to show you is called a blending stump. A blending stump is a really nice finishing tool for a couple of different reasons. One, it will help you smooth areas where you really want a seamless, blended look from one value to the next. It will help you also create that chiaroscuro or gradual transition in values. And then, like I'm showing you here, you can actually use the graphite that's on the blending stump itself to put in some of your more subtle values. Now, you don't want to do this for really large areas because it's probably not going to be enough graphite, but if you have a small area like this little thumbnail here, using just that leftover graphite on the blending stump might be a really nice way to tackle that. To clean the blending stump, you're going to use a piece of sandpaper and hold the blending stump at about a 45-degree angle, and then just gently scrape it to clean it. This will also help you bring back the edge or the point if it gets dull. Next, I'm going to show you something called a kneaded eraser. This is a really fabulous tool for changing values, especially lightening areas that maybe are a little bit too dark in your drawing, and correcting mistakes and smudges. So if you get one right out of the package, you do need to start by softening it or kneading it and stretching it so that it's in more of a ball shape. But then once it's in that ball shape, you can change it by just shaping it into any sort of shape that you need to suit, the area that you're working on. So you can see that to use it, you're pressing it into the drawing. You're not scrubbing with it, you're pressing, and by pressing, you're lifting some of that graphite off the paper and lightening those values. So now I'm going to show you how to use it when you've shaped it into a point. So that's a really useful thing to do if you've got just like a little spot in your drawing that you need to correct, or maybe you have an area of texture. For an area that you want to remain completely white, you would use one of the white plastic erasers, like the negative space on the outside of the hand here, where I'm going to erase grid lines. But otherwise, you really want to stick to that kneaded eraser because it's going to help you make subtle adjustments, like adjustments to the outer edges of your drawing, for example. So that's what you want to be thinking about as that final finishing. And to clean the kneaded eraser, you're just going to stretch it and kind of continuously stretch it back over onto itself and reshape it back into a ball so that it's clean for either the next person or for the next part of your drawing.